Well, good morning, everybody. I hope you're doing well. It's Carpo here. Today I'm going to be reading briefly from the Tarot of the Bohemians. And, when we talk about secret societies, ancient knowledge, symbolism, and all these different things, there seems to be a large group of folks who just repeat what they hear. And I'm not dissing anybody for that, because I understand that's how our society works. But I gotta say, I would advise anyone to dig into the literature yourself. Don't let somebody else pull out the parts that they think are important, or, recite what somebody else pulled out of a quote out of a 1,000-page book. This one is very interesting, and it has to do with the secret societies preserving the knowledge that we're trying to find. And I believe this book was originally written in, it was translated from French. It was first published in 1896. Okay. Now let me just read a couple chapters, or at least one chapter here, because they're really, most of them is just descriptive stuff, but this one explains the whole point of the book. The Tarot, Chapter 1, Introduction to the Study of the Tarot. Approaching end of materialism, synthesis, the occult science, the secret societies, the cultists, the people, organ of transmission of esotericism, the gypsies, the sacred word of Freemasonry, our work. And that's just the description of the chapter. It says, we are on the eve of a complete transformation of our scientific methods. Materialism has given us all that we can expect from it, and inquirers, disappointed as a rule, hope for great things from the future, whilst they were unwilling to spend more time in pursuing the path adopted in modern times. Analysis has been carried in every branch of knowledge as far as possible, and has only deepened the moats which divide the sciences. Synthesis becomes necessary, but how can we realize it? If we would condescend to waive for one moment our belief in the indefinite progress and fatal superiority of later generations over the ancients, we would at once perceive that the colossal civilizations of antiquity possessed science, universities, and schools. India and Egypt are still strewn with valuable remains, which reveal to archaeologists the existence of this ancient science. We are now in a position to affirm that the dominant character of this teaching was synthesis, which condenses in a very few simple laws the whole of the acquired knowledge. Take note of that. But the use of synthesis had almost been entirely lost through several causes, which it is important to enumerate. Okay, this is where it gets interesting. Amongst the ancients, knowledge was only transmitted to men whose worth had been proved by a series of tests. This transmittal took place in the temples under the name of the mysteries, and many of you may have heard of the mysteries, maybe not. And the adept assumed the title of priest or initiate. This science was therefore secret or occult, and thus originated from the name of occult science given by our contemporaries to the ancient synthesis. Another reason for the limited diffusion of the higher branches of knowledge was the length and difficulty of the journeys involved before the most important centers of initiation could be reached. However, when the initiates found that a time was approaching when these doctrines might be lost to humanity, they made strenuous efforts to save the law of synthesis from oblivion. 3 great methods were used for this purpose. Number 1, secret societies, a direct continuation of the mysteries. Number 2, the cultists, a symbolic translation of the higher doctrines for the use of the people. Number 3, lastly, the people itself became the unconscious depository of the doctrine. Let us now see what use each of these groups made of the treasure confided to it. I'm going to cut that there and start a second one. It goes on to secret societies, but people may have already lost interest in this, but for those who don't, check out part 2. I'm going to pause this.